Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the battery on a Dodge Neon. Now this would be the same on whether it's the SE, the SXT, the SXT Special Edition, the SRT Design, or the SRT-4. Let's go ahead and get started. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to go inside the vehicle. I'm going to show you obviously how to access the battery. It's very simple, just under the hood, but don't want to take it for granted that everyone knows that. So we're going to show that. And then I'm going to show you what you want to test first to make sure that your battery is even bad. Sometimes people replace the battery. That's not even the issue. Sometimes it could be a bad alternator. But let's head underneath here. I'll show you where to pop the hood. We'll go underneath, find it, and then we'll test it. And then we'll move on to swapping it out. Now this particular vehicle here, the battery's been bad for some time because it's not a primary vehicle. So I've just been charging it up until this point, and then eventually wouldn't take the charge anymore, which is why it was bad, but can't even move it. But let's bring the camera in here. Here on the driver's side, here on the left, you'll see the little symbol right here that looks like a car with the hood up. All you're going to do is just pull that. You'll hear it pop. That releases the hood, so we can now open it. And as I just mentioned, because the car has been sitting and it's dead, I can't move it, kind of tight up in here. But if we raise this up here, and I'll get a close-up, there's a little lever that you can push down, and that will, see if I can get it, there we go. That will release the hood so we can open it and get to the battery, but here's a close-up. This lever right here, and if you grab it, you can lift it up like this, and that will release the hood so that way you can open it. Now we can raise it, prop it up. Now we have a full access in here. Let me bring the camera in here so we can see what we're looking at. I'll show you where the battery is and what you'll need to remove it. And you can see this one here is the 2.0 liter. If you have the SRT-4, it's going to be the 2.4 liter. Same battery on both, but here's the battery. These are the original connections and stuff. That's why they look so bad, probably due to have them replaced. But the replacement battery is right here. It's a 26R. So if you're purchasing, regardless of the brand, you're looking for a 26R is the model that it takes. And then you have it just connected right here on these 2 points, which is what we're going to be removing. Now, these are the only items that you're going to need. You're going to need, obviously, a replacement battery, regardless of what brand you get or where you buy it. It's up to you. As mentioned already, 26R is the model. Then we have a 13mm wrench. You can use a socket as well if you want to do that, but you're going to need that to remove the nuts that hold the battery cables onto the battery, unless somebody put aftermarket what's on, but they should be 13mm. Next thing we want to do, in this case, I already know the battery's bad, but I'm going to show you, if you have what seems to be a bad battery, you want to make sure that the battery is bad. You also want to make sure that you check your alternator. Sometimes if that's bad, it'll be depleting your battery. I'll have a link across the top. Also down in the description for some videos that I did on how to test your alternator, voltage drop, things like that. That will definitely come in handy because you don't want to be wasting money that you don't need to. But in this case here, what we're going to do is we're going to put it on 20 volts. Okay, so we'll put that where you can see it. Next thing that we're going to do, we're going to put this, we're going to ground it, and then we're going to touch right here on the positive. And this battery is gone. 8.3 volts, that is completely gone. A lot of times if you have one that died, you might be around 10 or 11. Some of those times you can charge the battery, recharge it. I'll have a link also across the top down in the description where I show how to recharge a battery. But once a battery is completely gone, there's nothing you can do except replace it. Also want to make sure that you check your water levels on your battery as well. I'll have that video as well across the top down in the description just to maintain your battery so you get the most out of it. This particular battery has been in here for years. I believe this was put in probably about 6 or 7 years ago, so definitely time to go. So now that we've tested that, battery is definitely gone. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get our wrench, 13mm, get these nuts off so we can take these, take the battery cables off, swap the battery out, and then we'll fire up the vehicle and make sure everything's fine. Always start with your negative battery cable. So let's remove that one. And this, as mentioned already, this one here is, I need to hold that thing's spinning, but definitely a need to replace these cables. That'll be for another video. I mean, these things are old. This car is almost 20 years old. So now with that loosened, there we go. Take that off and look at all the corrosion and junk that came off that. Definitely bad. These battery cables could probably use a replacing as well. This car sits a lot of the time, so It's just waiting because I'm getting ready to do a lot of work on it anyway. At that point, we're going to replace these things. But for now, let's just get this taken care of. Okay, get that out of the way. And then here's our battery here. And also has a little clip I'll show you down here, like that holds it in place. Let me get a close-up. We need to remove that as well. Coming along the back here of the battery, if we look down, you'll see down there, that is a 13mm bolt holding that clamp on that holds the battery in place. So we're going to have to remove that. One thing I failed to mention when I was showing what you need, you are going to need an extension with a ratchet and a 13mm socket to get down in there. I'm using just a long 12-inch so we can get all the way down in there and remove that, but you will need that as well to get that off. So let's take that off. Bring this in, get right on there. And you'll need to tighten that back up anyway once we're done. But now with that loosened, there we go. The battery is free to come out. Now with the battery out, let me show you. This is that clip right here. We can remove that. But the way that it goes in is you have that angled piece down right there. That holds on, there's a little lip on the battery casing, and that will then bolt down and hold it in place so that the battery is stable and doesn't move around. Now it's important that you remove this battery blanket off your old battery. It should slide right off. Probably pull it from the bottom, might be easier. You want to put it on your new battery. So we're going to slide this one like this and put the blanket on it. And then we're ready to drop the new one in. Now, you might be noticing here that I have the EverStart batteries that are available at Walmart. I get comments on it all the time. People saying Walmart battery, this, that, and whatever. I've only used these batteries because I'm not going to be wasting tons of money on these other ones that you get at automotive stores for hundreds of dollars when I can get these for $60, $70, $80. I've had some of these in my vehicles. They've lasted 7, 8, 9 years before needing to be replaced. I have a friend of mine who actually works in the battery industry dealing with the manufacturers. And these Walmart batteries, Walmart's not making their own batteries. They're made by the same companies that make the name brands. The only difference, you're paying for the warranty. That's the only thing that you're paying for when you get a longer battery, is for a longer warranty if there's an issue. But if you maintain these cheap batteries, they'll last just as long, so save your money. Let's put this in. Drop this in here. And we want to make sure that we take that plate and we properly lock it on. So let me get a close-up as we attach that. As mentioned already, you want that pressed down with that angled piece. Once we have that in place, we can bring in the bolt, hand tighten it in, and then let's get our extension and we'll tighten it up with the ratchet. Get that on there. Want that nice and tight so the battery isn't moving. Okay. And if we take a look now, this battery is solid, nice in place. We can slide the blanket down a little bit further because I had to raise it up to get to that little lip on the bottom of the battery to clip onto it. Now with that done, we can remove these little covers. We're going to start by connecting the positive first. We'll get that on. And you want to get it all the way down, and then we'll put the negative one on after we get that one secured. That one's secure. We'll bring around here our negative one. You want to push it all the way down. Get this one on. As mentioned already, I am in need of some replacement battery cables on here with your, these things are barely I mean, they look rough, but they're still doing the job. So, okay, so that's on. I'm going to put a little bit of dielectric grease on here. It's not a bad idea to do that just to seal it. So let's add a little bit on there, and then we'll fire up the vehicle. Come in, we'll put a little bit here on top of this one. And we'll put a little bit here on top of this one. This is good to keep moisture out. And just cake it around there. Tops. You don't want to put it on the actual post and then the cables. You want to put it after you've made the connection just to seal it here on the outside. And put it like there. There we go. Let's check the voltage and I'll show you what it should be looking like. So we'll put it back here. See if we can get a view of it. We'll connect to the negative first again, then positive. And we are at 12.44, excellent. You want to be between 12.4, 12.5 is a healthy new battery. So we're good with that. Let's start it. Okay, it's running great. Let me close this up. That wraps up this video. I'm going to actually take it for a spin. We're not going to show that in the video, but everything's working great. But that wraps up this video on how to replace the battery on a Dodge Neon. As mentioned at the beginning, this would pertain to any of the different models of Neons, from the SE all the way up to the SRT-4. I hope that this video was informative for you. I hope it helped you out with any projects you're working on with your Dodge Neon and a battery issue. Don't forget, when you're done, you take the core back because you'll get about 12 to 15 bucks for that when you turn it back in. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.